That's another festival, our fifth one done. Cementa22. It was a very different festival than the ones we've had in the past, in good part due to COVID. A lot of our residencies were interrupted. It gave the artists to turn their minds to using what was available. That happened to be a lot more engagement with community. Cementa emerged out of an encounter between urban-based artists and a small country town when that town was facing some significant changes. That set the tone of the festival. It's a festival about learning how we might be able to communicate across our cultural differences, to be able to build trust between different ways of looking at the world. The artists coming up and doing the work they do, that's half of the experiment. The way that the town receives that and engages with it, that's the other half. So we had probably around 50 artists. One of the things I really loved is that we had a number of locals who did some of the most powerful work. Emma Campbell had conversations. That was what she did. She just invited 4 locals in to have a conversation around what is a local. As always, our performance night was exciting and fun and on the edge of your seat. Clown Bride was our MC. The Sham Gods came on and gave us a performance of absolute absurdity. A local, Oriana Panazzo, gave a rousing performance of a work about being stuck in the world of COVID. Ali G came out and did a burlesque performance that had 200 people dancing to AC/DC. Our sound night was, again, a huge success. Always contentious, which is something I always like. It always makes us examine what we're doing and why we do it in the ways that we do. Another real highlight of the festival was The Longest Hum by Tina Stefanu, where she got basically the entire audience of the festival to line up along a single block of the town and then to hum together for 10 minutes. It was very low and very subtle. It sounded a bit like bees in the air. There was a lot of these works that were participatory, that people could engage and just make. Leanne Thompson did a work where she filled the entire Catholic school hall with a woven structure and invited the audience to come in and just weave with her and talk about hydrology. We had an amazing work by Alliston, Clouston and Boyd. They took an entire tree, 30 meters, that had died in the 2019 bushfires, and they put it and installed it in our community hall. As a part of Allison and Boyd's work, on the Saturday evening, the entire audience met down at the rotunda. Each group was given a certain word set in Wiradjuri language. They were taught how to say it, and then we all formed a procession and walked up to the main hall, doing a call and response using these words. The whole audience gathered around, and then a choir from Bathurst began to sing. There were a lot of contemplative works, very quiet works. Leah Smith, for instance, worked with local primary school kids to reimagine what a school might be. And they created this beautiful meditation on what school and learning might want to be. Alan Shacker went all out, the most ambitious work I think we've ever tried. 3 industrial fans, we got a crane, we craned them into the bell tower, and he set up these large anarchic streamers that pumped out of the windows of the bell tower. Vivian Dadour, her work was this reverent contemplation of a figure by the name of Syrian Mary. Very little known, she was a hawker who walked this area. Vivian took those very basic traces and she emphasized them into this almost religious work. That was actually complemented by another series of photographs at the museum done by Julie Williams, who took as her figure Jessie Hickman, who is known as the Lady Bushranger. One of the highlights of the festival was the introduction of a new venue, Cumbermelon Studios. They set up a pop-up restaurant and bar, Modern Art Project's Blue Mountains. They brought 8 artists in and did a group show around the bushfires of 2019. The Aboriginal component was perhaps the strongest bit of the festival. The closing ceremony was developed by Peter Swain, Emma Syme, Joe Albany, and Joe Clancy, and given at the Wiradjuri Center. Joe devised a dance around the lyrebird and gifted that to the local women and girls of the Kandos Aboriginal community. And they performed it, and then there was a dance that included the entire audience as well. By the end of it all, the whole room was weeping. We had Jundal Stranyedika dressed up as Sister Glitter Nullius. She was repatriating rubbish taken from the local tip, which was placed on a significant site for the local Aboriginal people. So it was this amazing way to end the festival. For me, it was a very much needed release of all of the pent-up energies of the last 2 years. We spend our daily lives trying to constrain and control the world, and a festival is a moment where we let those forces loose. And we do so in a celebratory way, and a way that brings us together. And I think that renews us, and I feel like that's what this festival did.